Good night, my name is Philip. I will continue the study of international logistics. I am the chapter 2, Government Interests and Involvement in International Logistics. This is the chapter 2 of the International Logistics, a book that will introduce the material to you all, tá? Introduction. All nations support international trade for a number of reasons. Most of the reasons deal with promoting their own economies. A second set of reasons relates to national defense. This chapter shall cover both topics. Economic importance. Governments through the world are interested in both international trade and international transportation for many reasons. It's generally believed that each country produces what it can best and then is able to trade some of its supplies for goods or services that other nations have to offer. All nations would like to export more than they import in order to generate a positive balance of trade, which help bolster both their country's currency and its employment. Conversely, nations attempt to limit imports by assessing duties on them or establishing quotas to limit the flow. Sometimes the purpose of these controls is to protect local producers. There are also many hidden tariff barriers that discourage both the importation and flow of foreign goods. Logistics systems must be designed to make them into account. There are several costs associated with international logistics, and they are in addition to the price of the product. If a good is either exported or imported, there are costs of transport and insurance. If provided by the exporting nation's firms, then the importing nation must import the goods plus the transportation for carrying the goods to the port of entry, plus the insurance for the movement. If the movement nation can provide the transportation and insurance, then they are importing only the goods and transporting from the factory to the port of export. For example, British exporters have been encouraged by government agents to sell on delivery price basis for two reasons. The customer is said wants a price he can compare locally, and the British exporter selling delivered is more likely to nominate a British forward or carrier. Later chapters will deal with terms of sales. They are of significance to more than merely the buyer and the sellers consider this. American shipping lines carry only a very small amount of US-China trade, which amounted to about 8 billion in 1985. This comes about through of China Foreign Trade Agency insisting, wherever possible, upon terms of trade which allow them to control most of the transportation and thus to utilize the service of their two state-run transport companies. The example given to far deal only with importing and exporting nations, as though there were only two. Actually, there are more. The term cross-trader is a nation whose firms carry or facilitate the movement of goods between two other nations. An example would be nation A in vessels carrying commerce between nations B and C. Norway is a good example. They operate many more ships than are needed for their own export and imports. To give an example of the importance of these international transport payments, the following are US foreign trade figures: 1992 in billions of dollars. Export goods services in incoming $730 billion. Merchandise exercise military $440 billion. Travel, $54 billion. Passenger fares, $17 billion. Other transportation, $235 billion. Expenditure for travel, passenger fares, and other transportation paid to U.S. based firms by foreign show up as exports, whereas those that U.S. citizens and firms pay to foreign firms, including cross-traders, show up as imports. Expenditures by U.S. citizens paid to U.S. firms, say buying an airline ticket on United Airlines from New York to Rome, will not show up in this tally. Exports of transportation equipment are also important and have contributed to the nation's balance of payments. A 1988 newspaper article said, exports are the mainstay of Boeing's earnings, accounting for 45% its total sales, compared with only 8% for General Motors. In late June 1991, Chinese Premier Li Peng declared that if the United States does not renew China's most favored nation trade status, China will stop buying American-made airplanes from Boeing. Hanging foreign trade also creates jobs with carriers in the handling of exporting, import shipments, and servicing overseas transportation. This chapter deals almost entirely with government involvement with international transportation. Remember that international transportation is but one cost component of international logistics, and its turn, international logistics is but one cost component of international trade. Thank you for watching. Subscribe the channel. If you like, share with your friends. Support this channel. Start the notifications. Have a nice week. Thank you very much. Good night. See you.